This one is important.
Yes, big time. Like I said, Logan can go from outside looking in to locked for the Players' Championship this weekend. Todd can definitely lock himself this weekend as well. And both would really like to give the other a loss.
Yes.
So there's a lot going on here.
Anderson going to be on the play. He'll start with a mountain, and we are underway here in round number 11. The pressure on here for both players. Going to make this match a lot of fun. It's a flooded strand. It's a Soulfire Grandmaster here for Anderson. Basic planes on the way. For Mize, he'll untap that Shambling Vent. He'll sacrifice a Wooded Foothills. And Basic Forest going to be on the way to help cast that Air of the Wilds. So both players on the board early. Next up here for Anderson. He'll draw. He does have a copy of Dragon Master Outcast in hand, also a Murderous Cut. Looks like Polluted Delta. So lands will be cooperating thus far. Also a copy of Fiery Impulse, which looks like he's going to fire that off, get Air of the Wilds out of the way. He'll gain 2 life in the exchange. Let's make it 4 after the attack, going to push himself up to 23. There is Polluted Delta. He'll sacrifice that, fall down to 22. Dragon Master Outcast. He's going to search up a Smoldering Marsh. So no blue mana just yet for Anderson.
But I think he has 1 fetch land left over here, so I don't think he would get the Dragon Master Outcast to play ahead of schedule if it cost him blue mana.
Yeah. And now, I believe we're going to be heading Logan's way. He'll draw a copy of Abzan Charm. There's a Flooded Strand there for Logan. You can see his hand, multiple copies of Gideon. There's a Wingmate Rock over there as well. And all Logan can do right now is just pass the turn back over to Anderson, who's going to untap very quickly and take a draw. Polluted Delta the draw. And now he's going to come across here for 3. Anderson going to go up to 24. Mize going to fall down to 16. Anderson going to fall down to 23 now from the fetch. Blue mana, you have to imagine, is on the way.
I think we might be cruising.
Cruising for a bruising?
Would look that way.
There's a Sunken Hollow. And if that's a start here for Todd, it's a really good start. Yep, and there goes the graveyard. Just going to delve it all away. It is time to go for a cruise. 3 cards coming here for Anderson.
So something to keep in mind watching Anderson play. He doesn't get a lot of draws.
This is true.
People have control over the number of draws they get.
Yes.
Anderson does not get many draws.
He plays quickly.
And it's not like his deck's winning on turn 5.
Yeah.
We've seen him play some 12, 13, 14 turn games. He does not get a lot of draws.
Well, when you play a deck like his, you see Mize is going to draw 2 cards here with Abzan Charm. You are kind of signing a contract in some fashion that says, I have to play quickly.
Yes.
That's what you're signing up for. When you remove Mantis Rider from your deck, it makes it so that winning the game takes a little bit longer. So the draws, for the most part, they're on you if you get them.
And when we see Anderson win, it's I got back Dragon Master Outcast with Ojutai's command on turn 9, or I set up Soulfire Grandmaster plus Crackling Doom and burned you out. These are not fast routes to winning the game.
Yeah.
And yet, keeps it pretty clean when it comes to the draws.
Flooded Strand here for Mize. He'll sacrifice that. We'll see what land he wants to search up. He'll go with a Canopy Vista. Double green here now. Mana does not appear to be a problem here. And now there's a Siege Rhino. So Maya's going to gain a little bit of life. Anderson will lose some. And Todd will quickly untap and take a draw step here.
Somewhat surprised to see Mize not get the Sunken Hollow there. I don't know if he has access to another mana, but I typically like getting the second black source of mana because you have Murderous Cut and black spells. So
sure.
Often you want to play 2 black spells in the same turn. Also gives you a route to turn on the Shambling Vent. Like I said, I don't know, maybe Logan just has another way to get the Sunken Hollow, but I like getting double black for this deck when you have a window to do so.
Here's a Prairie Stream for Anderson. See if he has a removal spell here for the Rhino. Something like a Crackling Doom. which he is playing 4 copies of this weekend. Instead, it's just going to be a 5-mana Murderous Cut. That'll get it done all the same.
I think Anderson's hand may just be lands.
Abzan Charm, the draw here for Mize. There are quite a few. I think, yeah, 4 lands for Todd. For Mize, he'll play Gideon.
And I think on the other side of this, that Mize might not have an answer for either creature in play.
Yeah.
Which is really bad news, because Dragon Master Outcast uncontested is just, that's just it.
Well, there's another land there for Todd, I think. This is a weird game.
Now, if Mize can find an answer for the Dragon Master Outcast, he's really far ahead. He's got a Gideon and a bunch of spells in his hand, and Anderson's got nothing but lands, but can easily lose the game right now.
Well, what's so compelling about this is Mize's plays would change, I think, if he just saw Todd's hand.
Probably.
Because Todd right now is just kind of, I've got a bunch of cards in my hand. I cast a Treasure Cruise, so you probably think my hand is great. Going to try to represent Ochai's command or what have you.
Well, there was a bit of a giveaway last turn with Anderson paying full retail for Murderous Cut. If he had some other follow-up, he could have done it. He had cards in his graveyard to work with. So I think Mize probably senses his hand's a little bit land-heavy. I doubt he expects it's all lands, but Anderson last turn represented that he's a little light on action.
Todd just going to sacrifice the fetch land in his main phase, and I think just pass the turn back over to Logan. So Logan will go. He'll draw a card. Dromoka's command is timely.
Yes, and I know Logan feels like this is not that likely to work, but he can't let Anderson go to his turn.
Yep. He can't risk him making a dragon, because then he's in horrible shape.
I guess the safer way to try to do it is to turn on Gideon first and use that as a way to fight. Crackling Doom's a disaster, but Crackling Doom's very bad for you anyway if you try to do something with the token, and Gideon's immune to some other removal spells. It's an interesting spot because I think eventually Logan's just going to have to go for it because the alternative's too bad, and he's really worried because he knows the odds are very low that it works, but we know Anderson's hand's all lands, and it's going to be fine.
Yep. Step 1's an attack there for 2. Looks like Logan is going to attempt to make another Night Ally.
So doing it this way means that he can work around Crackling Doom.
And now he's going to sacrifice this Wooded Foothills. Now, there's a chance we see him just go to Wingmate Rock.
I don't think he can do that. But because Anderson's hand could easily have Ojutai's command.
Yep.
I guess Ojutai's command is bad news in any event. But Wingmate Rock is just, it's just worse than Dragons. I don't know.
Well, he's going to the Rock. So, Logan's going to get 2 flyers. Todd will get 1. Todd will draw a card. It's a Mystic Monastery. There's a Prairie Stream. And now we're going to go back over to Mize. Warden of the first tree to draw. Curious to see if Mize is going to try it now, because now that he's seen that Wingmate Rock's going to resolve, now he can just take Todd off of Ojutai's command too, I think.
Probably.
Because
yeah.
part of the reason I don't think that Logan tried to kill the Dragon Master Outcast is he says, okay, I'll kill Dromoka's command. Sure, I'll just Ojutai's command my creature back.
Yeah.
So I think that's part of the reason we didn't see Todd. I think it's part of the reason we didn't see Logan Dromoka's command. Because if you have Ojutai's command, I'm in bad shape either way, so I'd rather try to resolve the Wingmate Rock, I think is his line of thought.
Right. The other side of it is, though, is that, you know, if you resolve the Wingmate Rock, I still don't think you can take Todd off of Ojutai's command necessarily, because Todd might say, okay, that's fine, you get some 3/4s, I got a 5/5, and I'm just going to commit this Ojutai's command to getting back the Dragon Master Outcast, which you have to kill.
Well, here come the attacks. Gideon is large. Wingmate Rock's going to trigger and gain some life here for Logan. And now Todd is going to do some blocking here with the Soulfire Grandmaster.
And this is a very impressive round of play here from Mize with the Abzan Charm in hand and Gideon on the table. I think his feeling was, if Wingmate Rock resolves, I'm far more likely to be able to win this game just by tempoing Anderson out than by taking this enormous risk with Jamoka's command.
Roast the draw here for Anderson.
And now even Logan can go, all right, end step, I'll use Jamoka's command to fight your Dragon Master Outcast. You're going to do something about that. You have to do it on your own turn, and then I untap with 5 mana plus my Gideon in play. I was skeptical of this line, but with Abzan Charm and Jamoka's command in hand, Mize has found a route to work around Dragon Master Outcast that came with far less risk than just firing off Jamoka's command the turn before Dragon Master Outcast was triggering the first time.
Roast will take care of the Knight ally, pass the turn back over to Mize, who still has a Jamoka's command in hand. He actually has another copy of Abzan Charm too, so he's sitting pretty right now. There is a Wooded Foothills. Gideon's going to tick up. We're going to see Abzan Charm again take care of the dragon, and that is going to do it on this particular game. As Logan Mize is going to win game number 1 here over Todd Anderson. Abzan aggro up a game there over Jeskai Black. It was a really good start there for Anderson, but drew a few too many lands.
Flooded out there, but Mize still had a lot to consider, a lot to play around, and I really like the path that he took. I thought he was going to be forced to fire off that Jamoka's command there, but with the board presence that he had and the Abzan Charms, he found a way to work around it while incurring far less risk.
Going to start with Anderson, his 2 Master of the Unseens, a negate, 2 Radiant Flames, 2 Irration Clerics, an erase, 2 dispels, 3 copies of Infinite Obliteration, and 2 Disdainful Stroke.
This sideboard does not really excite me all that much for the matchup. The Disdainful Strokes are okay, and the dispels are also okay, but you know, Radiant Flames seems a little mopey given the size of Mize's creatures. Mastery of the Unseen seems slow, and Mize's deck has Jamoka's command. There isn't a whole lot that jumps out at me as being strong sideboard options for this matchup.
On the other side here for Mize, 4 Pitiless Horde, 2 Self-Inflicted Wound, 2 Irration Cleric, 2 Ultimate Prize, Murderous Cut, a Silk Wrap, a Jamoka's command, and 2 Hallowed Moonlights.
So assuming he's familiar with Anderson's list, I think the Silk Wrap, Murderous Cut, and 2 copies of Ultimate Price can come in. I'm on the fence about Pitiless Horde. I think it's just good enough to bring in this matchup. If Mize kept it in the sideboard, I also wouldn't be surprised. I imagine this is more for Esper Dragon, Esper Control style matchups, but Anderson's list is probably closer to that in practice than to a typical build of Jeskai. So we might see the Hordes come in.
Well, there's the options there for both players. They'll shuffle up sideboard here for game number 2, and Anderson will be on the play. In the meantime, we're going to talk about the holiday sale that's taking place with Star City Games right now. All throughout December up until January 1st, we've got some sweet specials going on.
Yeah, a variety of rares are on sale for 50% off, so you can just go to the website and see what's on sale. We're going to have new items added to the website at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, Monday through Friday, through the entire month of December. So make sure to check back every single day as we're going to have new sales. There's also going to be stocking stuffers all month long, so for the figurines, the sleeves, deck boxes, Battle for Zendikar, basic lands, and so forth, there's going to be very good deals on that stuff as well.
It's a fun time. Christmas coming around the corner, New Year as well. 2016 will bring in the SCG Tour and some new locations and dates and tournaments for all that stuff. But right now, it is that holiday sale. StarCityGames.com to find out more about that as we get ready here for game number 2 between Anderson and Mize. Mize going to finish sideboarding up, so we'll learn a little bit more about the player who is on the play here in Todd Anderson. The player with the most Open Series top 8s in Open Series history is Todd, number 7 on our Season 4 leaderboard. 3 invitational top 8s with a win in 2012 of Season 3, 25 Open Series top 8s with 6 wins, and 4 Grand Prix top 8s on the resume here for the 29-year-old who currently resides in Roanoke, Virginia, providing content for Star City Games. For Todd, I'm sure he'd like Open Series number 26 as far as the top 8 is concerned on the resume here this weekend. And talking to him this weekend and throughout his travels here for Season 4 to qualify for the Players' Championship, he hated missing last year, and I don't think he'll accept missing this year.
Yeah, and he's in a great position right now at XM1. He doesn't need a whole lot of work here, a solid finish here, a good performance in the Invitational. He should be good to go, but it's by no means a lock, and part of the help that Anderson can do for himself right now would definitely be giving Logan Mize his first loss of the tournament.
Yeah, Logan's still, I don't want to say he's searching for loss number 1, but he doesn't have loss number 1 yet this weekend.
With a win here, Logan is close to lot for top 8. I
Yeah.
mean, he can start, you know, he's so far ahead in the standings. He's going to be playing against people who are X1, maybe even X2. And so he won't be in a position to draw just yet because his opponents won't be. But he has some cushion right now. We'll put it that way.
For Logan, as it looks like he's going to take a mulligan here, currently up a game. He's 10-0. He's number 10 on our Season for leaderboard. He's on the outside looking in for the Players' Championship right now. An invitational top 8 last year during Season 2 and 6 Open Series top 8s, and he's well on his way to his 7th Open Series top 8s. The one thing kind of eluding him is just a title.
Which is surprising.
Yeah.
Though if you look at the number of events he's shown up to, it's not surprising that a trophy has eluded him. He just has not been to all that many Open Series events in comparison to someone like Todd Anderson with his 20-some-odd top 8s and half dozen wins or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's only a matter of time. Logan lost in the finals this year of an Open Series event, 2015, and his conversion rate in terms of top 8ing the events that he does attend is excellent.
Top card going to go to the bottom for the Vancouver Mulligan there for Logan, and we're underway here in game number 2. Anderson will start off with a Mystic Monastery. Mize is going to begin things with a basic forest, and I believe a ward of the first tree, thanks to the wooded foothills. So Mize down to 19. Anderson draws a polluted delta. He'll play a bloodstained mire, and now here is a Jace. So the first real test here.
And Jace is one of the reasons, if I was Mize, I would consider bringing in the copies of Ultimate Price. He's got Silk Wrap, he's got Dramoka's Command, he's got some answers to Jace, but it's just so important to have one against Anderson's list.
Well, Mize is going to come in here with the ward of the first tree. Anderson, unsurprisingly, no interest in blocking. I think we'll see Logan search up a white mana here, and he will pump up the warden. So Anderson will fall down to 16. Soulfire Grandmaster the draw for the turn. Going to start by activating Jace. Time to draw and discard. Prairie Stream the draw.
Anderson's hand pretty land heavy. He's also got a Dragon Master Outcast, which is typically an easy discard, but a roast. So it's just which land.
There is Soulfire Grandmaster, a Sunken Hollow, and a passing of the turn. Siege Rhino the draw here for Logan.
Looks like a good curve here. Rhino and offends in some lands. Don't know if he has any removal to interact, but might just be casting the pretty solid curve of creatures over the next 2 turns.
Well, we've seen Obs on aggro have this kind of draw before.
Yeah.
You know, just Warden, Pump, Anafenza, Siege Rhino, removal spell, kill you. Anderson going to activate Jace. Picked up a Bloodstained Mire. Still a little land heavy as Todd this game. He'll discard. See how he wants to value the roast here. Looks like he's just going to use it now. Get Anafenza off the battlefield. Gain 5. Let's make it 7. Anderson going to go up to 20. And Jace threatening to flip the very next turn. Mize is going to untap.
With roast in the graveyard.
Yep.
I mean, that's one of the juicier ones. So important to be able to kill Jace. Can only say it so many different ways. You have to be able to kill that thing.
It's important to kill it. It's a good Magic card. Tom Ross already walking by, given that he's playing a Tarkar. We just got the thumbs up from him. He won his match, so 10-1 now. A very important tournament for him, too. Number 8 on our season 4 leaderboard.
This is shaping up to be a very nice top 8. I mean, I know we're only in the second round of day 2 here, but...
Yep. I mean, more than anything, a very important top 8 for
yeah.
a lot of these guys, yeah.
Every win's 5 points, so...
pretty important.
When you're separated by less than 5 points, it matters quite a bit.
Jace down via Murderous Cut. What's interesting, too, there, it's actually pretty tough, right? Because Jace is going to flip, but if you don't kill Grandmaster, it can run away with the game by itself.
The problem is that Jace flashback roast, even setting aside Soulfire Grandmaster, is probably too much for Mize to overcome right now and would swallow whatever play he would make. He can't cast Siege Rhino in the face of that. That can't be his turn. So, yes, Soulfire Grandmaster is threatening right now, and now with Fiery Impulse off the top, things are getting pretty rough here for Mize, but he had to get Jace off the table. There's just no alternative there.
It's a Prairie Stream and a passing in the turn. The one thing that Todd doesn't have right now, he doesn't have a second spell in the graveyard for Spell Mastery, so he can't actually kill the Warden for 3 just yet. He's going to have to use that Utter End probably to have that take place. So if Logan does decide to go Siege Rhino this turn, I think Todd's turn actually lines up pretty well.
Yeah, he gets to Utter End away the big play, whatever that happens to be, untap, and have Fiery Impulse with the mana to rebuy and Spell Mastery to get rid of the Warden. It's a good spot.
Yeah, Logan taking a look at the graveyard. It's a Roast, a Jace, and a couple of lands.
And this is the squeeze that Anderson's deck puts you in. I've watched it now over the course of several events where he doesn't have that many creatures. He's got 4 Jace, he's got 4 copies of Soulfire Grandmaster and a Dragon Master Outcast. That is it. But you still need to have a bunch of removal spells in your deck because if any of these threats go uncontested, they can win the game on their own. How many copies of Ultimate Price does Logan have in his list? It might be 0. Anderson's only got 9 creatures, but it's just so important to kill this stuff.
I like this play by Logan a lot, of firing Shambling Ven and attacking, because you're just thinking to yourself, okay, Oceanize Command, Utter It, like something. Though I cast Siege Rhino, it just can't be right.
Right.
Because you're just passing with all this mana available, I just can't imagine that this is what I'm supposed to do this turn.
And you saw Logan show the same respect last game,
Yep.
in the same spot where there's just no way he believed his Dramoka's command was going to be good there. Even though Anderson's hand was all lands, we knew it would be good. Logan showed a lot of respect and tried to find a different path.
So for Todd, it was an Utter End to take care of the Warden. Got in there with the Soulfire Grandmaster. Shambling Vents the land, pass the turn back, just Fiery Impulse in Anderson's hand right now, but Mize doesn't know that. So we'll see how Mize wants to move forward here. Because the way that Todd is playing this game, it feels like, to a certain extent, that he just has Oceanize Command in his hand. But then again, I think if you're Logan, you have to address the fact that I might not be able to beat Oceanize Command right now.
Yeah, I mean, well, Anderson can also just Oceanize Command back the Jace,
Yep.
flip immediately, and have 2 removal spells in the graveyard ready to go. So I think that he's just got to find the best play independent of Oceanize Command because that card's probably too good to beat in this position.
Right now here for Anderson on the end step, he's going to activate Soulfire Grandmaster to give this Fiery Impulse buyback. Den Protector is the morph. It's going to un-Megamorph here for Logan. He's going to get something back. Offense and Murder's Cut appear to be the choices.
I think he's just got to get a cut back here. There's so many draws here with Soulfire Grandmaster that Anderson just kind of wins the game on the spot. Finds Crackling Doom or Kolaghan's commands. Just have to get that off the table.
Murder's Cut the draw there for Anderson.
You get the Soulfire Grandmaster off the table, and Anderson's hand's 2 removal spells. You got a threat in your hand in Siege Rhino. You got a Shambling Ven. I mean, this is not a bad spot to be in, even though the early parts of this game were not good for Mize.
Here comes the attack for 2 with the Grandmaster. Anderson going to gain some more life, deal Mize some more damage. What's notable here on Anderson's side is even though he's flooding a little bit and doesn't have a lot of action at this point, no Jace that's flipped and getting a lot of advantage or Oceanize Command, any of that stuff, the life that he is gaining is buying him more draw steps.
Yeah, and he is drawing to Treasure Cruise, and I believe he also is playing with main deck copies of Painful Truth this weekend as well.
Yeah, he's playing 2.
Yeah, so he's got some big draws.
Mize going to sacrifice that Wooded Foothills. 3 cards in the grave right now for Murderous Cut.
Attention legacy players, Sam Below and Tristy Raitano. Please come.
So now we're going to head back Logan's way. 10-0 in this tournament and currently up a game.
I believe Logan just picked up a copy of Ultimate Price, which is nice.
Yep.
Gives him some insurance against Oceanize Command, getting back one of the 2 drops in question.
Mize has a lot to think about now. How he wants to sequence. He's had that Siege Rhino for some time.
It might be more efficient for him to cast Ultimate Price this turn, but then he's giving away the information that Murderous Cut's still in hand.
Sure. I like this play a lot by Todd. A lot.
Yep.
Activate Soulfire Grandmaster, which means the next spell he plays is going to come back to his hand, which is probably going to prevent Logan from playing a spell.
Yep.
The great thing here, too, is that Logan knows that Todd has Fire Impulse. He doesn't know that Todd has Murderous Cut.
Yeah.
So for Todd, he's just saying, well, yeah, this is a free roll for me to do this. And now there's the Rhino,
Wow.
and this works perfectly.
Great play here by Anderson.
Yeah.
I was going to say that I felt that with Anderson at 22, there's not that much of an incentive for Mize to get the Rhino on the table this turn because it's not going to be that sort of damage race. But Mize just, thought there was a good shot that the Rhino would be good. He's only playing against 1 unknown card. But Anderson had it, and Mize loses the Siege Rhino for nothing.
Now the draw this turn was a copy of Ojatai's command. Now, worth noting, Todd does know that Mize has a copy of Murder's Cut because he got it back with a Den Protector.
Right, which was the cost of the play last turn. We might see Anderson be very aggressive using this Ojatai's command, getting back one of his 2-drops if he wasn't aware that Mize still had a removal spell.
It feels like a dismiss now.
Yeah, now
to
it's
me.
probably going to be jamming up a creature.
Yep. Counter a spell, draw a card more than getting back Jace or Soulfire Grandmaster. Might as well draw a card here. Good back and forth game here in game 2. Here's a Siege Rhino. I like commanding here.
Yeah, Anderson knows getting back a creature is worth very little right now, so he might as well just take his 2 for 1.
Yeah, it's curious if he wants to get this back. This forces the cut, which I kind of like. And Todd knows this is coming, so this is a confident decision on his part to say, yeah, I'm fine with you killing this. Let's move forward. He just drew another copy of Ojatai's command.
All right, well, he pushed through the removal spell and got paid off with another Ojatai's command.
And he gets paid off in a lot of different respects there. If he draws a Jace, if he draws a Soulfire Grandmaster, if he draws Dragmaster Outcast, or he draws command. And now he's going to command this morph, which I believe is a Den Protector, get back Jace. And now things are going to get even more difficult for Logan, because if he doesn't have a removal spell now, Jace is going to flip, and we know how that goes. And you see the graveyard is stock loaded. Logan going to attack. Fiery Impulse is there in Anderson's hand. Maybe he forgot about that, not quite sure.
There's nothing else for him to do with his mana that turn, so.
Now Jace is going to go active. The discard is Duress. Don't need that. And Anderson's draw off of the Jace was a Treasure Cruise. He'll take a look at the graveyard here, figure out how he wants to delve, if he wants to delve.
Yeah, I think he wants to probably leave okay, so he's flashing back.
Ojatai's command, get back Soulfire Grandmaster, and draw a card. Jace's going to fall down to 2, pass the turn back. When this deck is humming, this deck is humming. I play a backup Soulfire Grandmaster this turn too. He's going to take a look at the graveyard.
I was going to say, if I'm in Anderson's position, I do want to leave Roast, and I want to leave Ojatai's command in the graveyard for Jace shenanigans. Everything else is pretty easy to flash back. Maybe he wants to keep the Utter End for the purposes of answering a Gideon, but looks like he's just going to leave the Ojatai's command back.
He lets a lot of it go, but he also leaves the shields down a little bit here. See what the draw is for Mize. Because Todd did get rid of a lot of his resources in the graveyard there. Yeah, Logan is pretty far behind. He's just going to concede the game right away. Time is certainly important here with about 23 minutes left to go. So Todd Anderson's going to win game 2 here over Logan Mize. Jeskai Black, Obs on aggro, getting ready for game 3.
And you have no margin for error against Anderson's deck. I mean, the minute that Jace came back, the game was wrapped up, essentially.
That's what Jace does, right?
Yep.
And the nice thing there, too, is that Soulfire Grandmaster bought the time necessary to be able to get to that point.
Yep. Forces Mize's hand on removal, gains a lot of life. I mean, Anderson had quite the cushion on life to work with there. And once he was able to leverage some of those 2-for-1s, no chance Mize can come back.
These players are going to shuffle up here for game number 3. Mize will be on the play. We're going to talk about the Season 1 schedule for next year on the Open Series. Getting excited for it. It's almost 2016 for the SCG Tour. A little bit of rebranding there, but we've already announced our locations. If you guys haven't seen, it's going to start off in Vegas with, of course, the main event that's taking place there. And then to kick off 2016, we're going to Cincy.
And a lot of Modern to open up the year here in Cincinnati and then in Charlotte. A Standard Open Series event in Atlanta that's right after the release weekend, so a fresh new Standard format there. We're going to be going to Columbus for a Standard Open after that. Regional Championships, February 6th. We've already released information about that, play mats and prizes and so forth. More information for that event coming later in the broadcast. Modern in Louisville, a Legacy Open in Philadelphia. After Philadelphia, we go to Indianapolis for a Standard Open Series event. Standard then in Baltimore, and then the Season 1 Invitational, April 15th through 17th in Columbus, Ohio, Standard and Modern as the invitational formats.
Of course, whenever you sign up for any of our main events, you will get a playmat, and this time for Season 1 of the SCG Tour for 2016, it is Kitchen Lynx.
Making a mess.
Yeah, just giving the beatdowns on the milk, splashing around in the sink. Pretty simple stuff. You sign up for one of our main events, you get this.
Yep.
You guys know the details by now. Free limited edition playmat.
You just sign up. It is free. Everyone in Denver here this weekend got the one from previous season, the Hop and Rabble Master Mat. Now we have the links coming, Season 1. Just sign up for the main event. You get one on site.
That rolled off the tongue really well there, by the way.
Hop and Rabble Master Mat?
Yeah. Hop and Rabble-doo-ba-da-ba-doo. That's the last time we have to say that, by the way.
Yeah.
It's over. It's in the books.
Credit to Michael Majors for that one.
Yeah. What is it? Hopper Rabbit Master Matt?
Hop around with Master Matt.
Okay. Got it. Okay. It's easy. It's easy. It's very simple stuff.
He can say it 3 times fast. And he's very excited. Very excited to show that to you.
He's very excitable. About 20 minutes here as these players do shuffle up for game number 3. Todd Anderson, Logan Mize, number 7 and number 10 respectively on our Season 4 leaderboard. Both of these players looking to go to the Players' Championship. Very important match for the two of them. As we've said so many times here on the Open Series, you don't know what match it's going to be.
Yes.
Where you miss out on the points or which one. So every single one does count. You ask someone like Danny Jessup last year was 1 point short and 1 match short of qualifying for the Players' Championship. He's going this year, but it definitely can't happen. And for someone like Eric Hawkins, maybe Logan himself, it could be them this year on the outside looking in. It's a warning of the first read to start here for Mize. Anderson with the Mystic Monastery. He'll play a Smoldering Marsh. He'll enter the battlefield tapped. Will head back Mize's way. See what kind of pressure Logan can put on Todd here this game. Serving in for 1. They'll stare at each other a little bit because the Fiery Impulse could show up right now.
Looks like Mize is just going to take his point.
Yep. And now he's going to deliver an Anaffenza. He'll have to take 1 to cast it. We'll see if Anderson has an answer for the big 4-4. Polluted Delta the draw. Looks like at least 1 copy of Crackling Doom. Oddly enough, I haven't seen that card show up in either game yet.
He has a Delta that can go get a Swamp, which comes into play untapped. And then he's got white, red, and black. Just price check real quick. Always good to make sure over the mana.
Mystic Monastery, that's your white.
Thought that Mize could cast a Siege Rhino, or Lisette could cast one earlier in the tournament.
I did too.
When he couldn't.
Delta's the land there for Anderson. We're going to head back Mize's way. He'll untap those 3 lands. You see the life totals, they're tied up right now. Smoldering Marsh, the draw there for Logan. He does have a copy of Gideon in hand, but I'm not sure he can cast it this turn. And with him playing a forest, the answer is definitely not. Logan looking to go to the attack step. Todd may want to stop him there, but he's going to let him come in. And the counter is going to be allowed.
And this is quite the hit that Anderson's taking.
I'd be surprised if he's going to take it all. I mean, maybe the Delta is forcing his hand to search up a land differently here.
Well, I think the issue here is that he wants to Disdainful Stroke a Siege Rhino,
Okay.
and then untap and Crackling Doom.
Okay. Now, if Logan makes a move with the pump, then we'll see Todd make a move with the Crackling Doom.
Exactly,
Okay, makes
yeah.
sense.
I wonder if this would have gone differently for Mize if he didn't play his land before combat.
Sure.
Because then Anderson's got to think, well, am I going to really take all this damage? Also, I don't even know if Mize has a 4th land, much less a 4-mana play to make.
Maybe Mize is a 4th land, but it might enter the battlefield tapped.
Right.
Something like that. There's a lot of variables there. Now, here's Crackling Doom. And so Mize is going to lose Anaffenza. He'll take 2, of course. And then Anderson going to take some damage here from the Warden. It's a 4-4 Warden now, by the way. Now Anderson will draw. A lot of blue cards over there.
Yeah, and a little bit of a clunker here from Anderson as he opened up on a Mystic Monastery, which doesn't help with the battle lands, but this is a good hand for Anderson to see.
Yeah, a couple of lands there in Wooded Foothills and Smoldering Marsh, and then a Siege Rhino. We'll see what the follow-up's going to be here for Anderson. Mize is going to have to start drawing some real action here because the Siege Rhino, it appears to be covered via Disdainful Stroke. He's going to play a Bloodstained Mire, pass the turn back, so big draw step here for Mize.
And given what happened last turn, I think Disdainful Stroke has to be on Mize's radar. It wouldn't surprise me if he just fired up Shambling Vent this turn.
We've seen him do it in previous games.
Yeah. Because Anderson was willing to allow the Warden to get a counter, essentially for free, And the only reason that happened was that Mize was threatening something with 4 mana up. That Disdainful Stroke's got to be on his radar right now.
Yeah, it's interesting when you play against a deck that's kind of reactive like this, because you're playing a guessing game.
Yep.
If you're Logan, you're trying to pick up on information that Todd is putting out there, but you're playing a bit of a guessing game. Logan going to sacrifice the Wooded Foothills. Going to figure out what land he wants to dial up. Going to go with Canopy Vista. That'll give him white mana to activate Shambling Vent moving forward.
Also allows him to cast Gideon.
Very true. Well, here comes the Rhino, it appears. And Disdainful Stroke will take care of that. Anderson's at 10. Gonna sacrifice the Bloodstained Mire on his upkeep, gonna fall down to 9. Now he just needs an answer for that Warden and eventually the Shambling Vent. But with Logan right now, he's got 2 lands in his hand.
And it looks like Anderson's going to have an opportunity this turn to Treasure Cruise on the cheap if he doesn't find an answer.
Yeah, 5 cards in the graveyard right now. I think he's got a fetch land in his hand too.
Anderson's 1 piece away from having this game stabilized.
It does feel that way.
But he's facing down a 4/4 Warden and a Shambling Vent, and if he takes his turn off drawing cards and fails to find a removal spell, he doesn't have a lot of cushion to work with.
Well, there's Cruise. And he does have Jace in his hand, as you just saw. So he'll draw 3 cards. Jace is one of them. I think he's going to be deploying one of these Jaces, and I'll pass the turn back. This is a big draw step for Logan Mize. If he can find something like a Wingmate Rock, the window is open. Heir of the Wild's the draw.
Heir of the Wilds is not a bad draw here. I mean, Logan has enough mana to activate the Shambling Vent and play it post-combat. It's not bad. And this Jace is not worth a whole lot right now because Anderson just nuked his own graveyard getting the Treasure Cruise to resolve. So we're looking at a loot and a chump block or whatever. It's not as good as drawing Siege Rhino, but this Heir is not a bad draw. Also, the Ferocious is enabled on it because you have a 4/4 Warden. Which,
all right.
That's another. It means that Fiery Impulse can't kill it without some help from the graveyard. So.
Here comes the vent. Todd, no interest in blocking, so he's going to take 4, 5, 6, and fall down to 3, which means he's in Siege Rhino range.
And now, Mize is essentially presenting 2 lethal attackers next turn because the Ferocious trigger will happen. He has a 3/3. The Warden is also a 4/4.
Utter end the draw.
Anderson might end up being just a little short of being able to work his way out of this. It's not for lack of resources. It's just he's at 3. The Jace he can't use to very good effect for a number of turns. Just doesn't have that much margin for error at this point.
Smoldering Marsh is the land. Pass the turn back. Another big draw step here for Mize. He'll draw.
I believe that was a Siege Rhino.
I think so. And now it makes you wonder if Todd has another copy of Disdainful Stroke in his hand.
I mean, Logan can just move to combat here and attack with 2 lethal creatures.
Mm-hmm.
And it forces Anderson to answer 2 creatures and be able to counter the Siege Rhino. That's asking a lot. You do make it a little obvious by not firing up the Shambling Vent, but the Shambling Vent doesn't even really present lethal this turn. So it's something that Anderson could hypothetically allow to hit him while still answering the 2 lethal threats. So I think the best thing to do is just go ahead and announce combat and see what Anderson does.
Looks like Logan's going to go with activating Shambling Vent. Yep. Tax step. Everybody in. With that effect on the stack, Utter and the Warden. So now when Heir of the Wilds tries to resolve, it'll still be a 2/2. Here's an activation of Jace. Anderson will draw and discard. Flooded Strand is what he found. You can see his hand. I think it's just 4 lands Jace.
Logan has made some pretty risk-adverse plays out of respect for what Anderson can have. I don't think he's necessarily wrong. I mean, he is trying to push Anderson up against the wall here.
Yep, there's 4 lands, and adjacent. Todd is going to concede the game. Logan Mize is going to win this match here over Todd Anderson. 2-1. Obs on aggro going to take care of Jeskai Black, and for Mize, he is now 11-0 here in Denver. And I don't want to say he's locked top 8, but he's pretty gosh darn close.
And both of the games that he won there,